Hi, in this video, I'm going to show that there are many funds which have a hard time trying to beat the index. Let's take one of these, which is the Access Blue Chip Fund, which was at one stage a very high performing fund, which is why even now it has 34,520 crores still invested. And some of this money has been invested for a fairly long time. So let's take the case of a person who invested 10 lakhs in this fund 5 years ago. So they made 15.62%. If they'd invested in the market, they would have made 19.48%. So the hit which they've taken because they've underperformed the market is about 36.87%. Or 3,68,707. So clearly now, if this person had a fresh 10 lakhs to invest, they probably would not put it into Access Blue Chip. And they try to find good alternatives that beat the market or put it in an index fund like the Nifty 500, which tries to meet the market. Right? The problem with trying to go into active funds is that they sometimes beat the market handsomely, then they underperform, and so on and so forth, right? So in some ways, you could consider going into just index funds for some part of your portfolio and keeping a small part where you try and beat the market by making some bets on either active funds or on small caps or mid caps or whatever thing you want to choose, right? So for the core part of your portfolio, you might want to consider index funds. Now, if you were to switch out of this fund, then you would get a tax hit of 1,33,270. And this would get recovered in less than a year, like in 1 year, you would recover it. Now, these calculations can be quite complex. You can do them yourself, or you can ask your advisor or use sites like Bharosa Club, which give you sort of weekly notifications on your WhatsApp, one by one in bite-sized pieces on all your underperforming funds. So the important takeaway, if you listen to this video, is that you should examine your portfolio almost 24/7 to see if you have funds which are underperforming. And if you do have such funds, then you probably need to get out of them. As if you keep being invested in underperforming funds and they continue to underperform, the loss that you will suffer in your portfolio can be very significant, as this example shows. Now, you can also see here that if you were in a 5-year Parag Parikh FlexiCap fund, you would have done much better than the market. So there's no sort of golden rule that all active funds underperform and index is always good and so on and so forth. It depends on a fund by fund basis. And like if we were looking at this 5 years later, maybe like Parag Parikh FlexiCap may not be such a good performer, or it may be. So I like Access Blue Chip was a star performer, which is why it got so much money, right, in there. So just wanted to make you aware of this category called index funds and how you could see whether index funds are right for you. Thank you very much for listening to me.